Well, hello, Coffee Time friends. How y'all doing? Welcome to Coffee Time with John and Momma, and it's Southern Sunday Luncheon. We're not ready to eat yet, for sure. This live may have to be stopped, and then we may have to do a picture, or we may have to do another live a little later. That's the only thing about cooking with lives. You gotta wait till the finished product. So, we're having really Southern Sunday Luncheon today. We're having chicken and dumplings. Mama's wanted chicken and dumplings for about a week, and I thought I wanted some. She bought a half a chicken yesterday, and I said, I think I see dumplings in our future, and she said, that's what I was thinking. I said, then that's what we'll have. Now, Mama's in there coughing because that's what we do. We have just taken turns coughing and just letting the good times roll. That's all you can do. The reason we didn't go to church today because we've got symptoms of coughing. Don't have any fever, don't have anything. I don't think we're contagious, but you never know. And you want to respect people and make sure you are, not getting out and about whenever you can keep from it. We miss church and we miss the church family, but we sure don't want to cause any problems. That's for sure, do we, Mama? So I've done cooked the chicken, I've done cut up potatoes, and I've done got them boiled. And I've got cornbread, I've got a new little thing going on. Never done it before, but it just hit me and I thought I'll try it. Because that's what cooking's really about. So I didn't need a whole pound of cornbread and a whole pound of biscuit bread, but I did want to make enough for dressing, because I'm going to make a little homemade dressing real quick and easy. And good morning, upstate Kentucky. Hello, Kelly. Hello, Elizabeth. Hey, Brian. It's so good to have y'all back with us, and it's so good for us to be cooking again. So down here on the chore board, I can't even talk, I'm doing some celery, and y'all did the leaves and all, but I washed them all. So, and I don't string my celery when I cut it up. Mama never did, and I don't. The only time I string it is if I'm going to eat it in a stalk or something, if I'm going to serve it on a platter, like we put them in a cheese or something. But I find as long as you cut it, dice it, those little strings don't bother me, and they don't come off. I mean, I don't even notice them. So maybe it's just us. But that's to each their own. You can string yours if you want to. So I have washed this thoroughly. I've cut the ends off, but I am using the leaves because those are full of flavor and vitamins and goodness. And all I'm going to do is, like I've showed you all several times, Thanksgiving, Christmas, if you can't see, swipe those comments to the right. You'll be able to see what I'm up to here. So, I'm chasing a rabbit. Let me get back. Rewind back to when you started this conversation. John. Okay, so what I've done, I didn't need a whole pound of cornbread, and I didn't need a whole pound of biscuit bread, just for a little dab of dressing. Didn't want a lot of left over. So I mixed up the cornbread, I mixed up the pound bread, the biscuit bread, which I do it just like I do biscuits. And I heated it in a skillet, and at the same time, I poured it in each side, and I made a half and half pound. Never have I done that before, but I thought that's all I need is a half and half. Let's see how that works out for me. But we're going to learn together, because it's, Mom, will you check my double pound bread? Now, in this clear bowl, as you all know, I put a dash of water, and that's just to create some steam for this celery. This is how quick and easy you can make homemade dressing, cornbread dressing. I'm going to show y'all right here in a flash and how good it is and how easy it is. And we do this just every once in a while. Sometimes I'll make homemade dressing for supper just with pork chops. It's not just a Thanksgiving, Christmas thing. It really is not. Mama's cough's better. Are you better, Mama?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
We're taking turns. I coughed all morning, so she's going to cough now. But I've been in here cooking ever since I done Sunday school. I've got that hack of chicken. It's tender as it can be. I boiled it, and all I've done was I covered it with water. I put about a half a stick of butter in it. I put some salt, some pepper, and some poultry seasoning. And let that boil in there real good. Mama just now checked it, and it's to perfection. And we'll use that chicken, and then I'll use what chicken's left for some more dishes this week. But this celery is so crunchy and so good. I love celery. Y'all like celery? Did y'all know celery is a negative calorie? It takes more energy and more calories to eat a piece of celery than the celery has in it. So if you get hungry, you want a little something, you like celery, it's a good go-to snack. Now I'm going to put all this in here. And now if I was going to do it for Thanksgiving, I'd do about 3 times that much. This onion might tear me up. We've got a run of strong onions. Look at the cornbread. Cornbread
This is
biscuit.
cornbread and that's biscuit bread. I can tell the difference.
You can tell the difference. Mama says it did good. I'm going to show it to you in just a second. I'm going to cut this onion up first before we get ready to make these dumplings. Now, dumplings are not an all-day event. You don't have to, you know, they can be, I guess, but you don't have to make them that. And you don't have to make dressing an all-day event. I'm going to show you this right now. That's the reason I want to hurry and get this done so I can get my onions
You want
on.
me to take it up?
Yes, ma'am. Let's just look at it. There it is in the pan. If I turn y'all over, hold on. Don't let me make you sick. Now look at there, folks. It turned out just perfection, just like I thought it would. That's a half and half pound. That's half cornbread over here. Half biscuit bread over here. I done it in one cast iron skillet, and that's all I had to do. What on earth is pone bread? Pone bread is biscuit bread made up. You make it up a little bit thinner than you would for biscuits, and then you pour it in your skillet, and you make a pone of biscuit bread. And there's a pone of cornbread. Let me cut this in half while it's here and let you see the inside. This will be a half pone cornbread, half pone biscuit bread, and there it is. You can see where the biscuit turns into the cornbread, and there's the other side. And that green is just a little bit of celery from a dirty knife that I just used.
Well, it wasn't dirty.
It wasn't dirty, it just didn't.
Had celery.
It had celery on it. So that's what I needed, so that's what I tried. That's the first time I've ever tried that, and it worked. So, try stuff, folks. It don't hurt a thing. I tried it right here, live, in front of all y'all. So surely you can be interested in your own kitchen. I don't know who is out there that needs to hear this, but I thought about it last night when I was talking about trying stuff. But you are allowed to try anything you want in your kitchen, and don't be afraid of failure. There is no failure. There's just trial and error and learning. You never fail. You learn or you succeed. So if you try something and you don't like it, don't do it again. Take your notes and say, well, here's what I did last time, and it didn't quite work out. So next time, I'll try this. So you're not going to fail. You're just going to learn. But you all can cook. Some of y'all have been putting on there, I wish I could cook. I wish I knew how to cook. I wish I knew how to do that. This is just Southern cooking. And anything Mama and I cooks, we want you to be able to cook it. There's nothing that we make that should be so complicated that everybody can't do it. Just get over that fear, jump right in there and cook. Because that's what it's all about. Have a good time and cook. Pick something for your family. Maybe you cooked something one time that's may hurt your feelings and said you can't cook. Maybe you're the one they always ask to bring paper plates or ice or whatever because you don't really have a specialty meal dish. Make you one. Take your place. Say, hey, I'll bring some paper plates and ice, but I'm also going to bring a dessert. Find you a dessert you like, fix it up, and take it. Or I'm going to bring a casserole. Or I've been trying and I'm making this. Take your place, folks. Take your place. Don't let nobody tell you can't do something because I'm telling you, you can. You know, it's kind of like being a kid and your mama or your daddy or somebody you trust, and all they'll have to say to you is it'll be okay. You ever notice that? When you was a kid, if you was afraid of something, my dad used to tell me I'd be going to do a spelling bee or something. He said, you can do that. Dad was a really good speller. And I'd get ready to cook something, or I'd get ready to do something, my mom would say, you can do that. You'll be okay. I remember one time I was in I think back then they called it commercial foods or something. It was a high school course. And I come home and I was worried. I told Mom, you can that right there, please. Mama's right here working. Mama's staying behind the scenes. She don't mean to. She's just fidgeting around.
Is this ready?
Yes, ma'am. Now, what we're going to do to this is I'm going to put salt, pepper, Mama's going to do it, and put a little poultry seasoning in it, a little stick of butter, not a stick, a little cube of butter, and put some clear saran wrap over it, or clear wrap, whatever you want to call it. We're going to put it in the microwave oven for 8 minutes. And it's going to be perfectly done. And then I'm going to put this cornbread in, and we're going to have dressing stirred up, and I'm going to put it back in the oven, bake it up right quick while I'm doing dumplings, and we're going to be ready to eat here for too long.
I'm going to put a little bit of
A little bit of that chicken base in there. Mama, you need some coffee. I can tell you that right now. It helped me this morning to get rid of my cough. I woke up very congested, very coughing, just not in a good place, but the Lord blessed and we was able to do it. Came home and I said, Mama, we gotta make homemade bread. And she said, well, we'll do that. And I said, no, Mama, you don't understand. I ain't talking about cornbread or biscuits. I'm talking about they want me to make a loaf of sandwich bread. And Mama said, well, I've not made one in a long time, but we'll make some. I felt instantly better because Mama said it's going to be okay. We made the bread. We put it on the refrigerator to let it rise. We put one batch, the first batch, on the back of the stove. It didn't do good. We trialed, we erred, and we learned. So we put the next one up on top of the refrigerator. It was winter time. It rose. It was beautiful, and I got second or third prize for my bread. It was delicious. So for years after that, I made bread all the time because I thought I can make bread. But I've not made bread in years. And I think it's time I try again. So me and Mama may get some loaf bread together. I'd like to learn how again, or at least experience it again, just so I know how. But you can do what you set your mind to. And don't let nobody tell you what you can do, what you can't do. Show them. If you mess up, it's just a lesson. It's not the end of the world. Try something. Try better than bouillon. And is good. Have the chicken flavor. I put some bouillon in this, some better bouillon in this chicken as I was cooking it. And that way I didn't have to put as much salt. If you use bouillon, cut way back on your sodium, your salt. I admire people who can cook. Kathy, you're one of them. We can all cook. We just have to know the procedure. Hi, John and Momma from Connecticut. How are you both today? We are better. I know we're coughing and carrying on, acting like we ain't much better, but we really are. I'm feeling better. I have more energy than I had last week or week before last. And I don't know if it's where I've taken some steroids or what. I'm not sleeping there as much, so we'll see how that goes too. Hello from Dixon, Tennessee. June, how are you? So sorry you're still feeling... Yeah, June, it just hangs on. And I've talked to several people, they'll have it for 20, 30 days. Where they get better, they get worse, they get better, they get worse. So I'm just going to enjoy the good times, and during the bad times, work through it to try to get better. Pineapple juice helps the cough. It sure does, Jamie. It's got a natural something in it. With this stuff, you don't want to suppress your cough too much. So if you're coughing, you're working that stuff out. So you don't want to over suppress. But pineapple juice does help. So Mama's got that in the microwave, and we're going to put it in there for 8 minutes, and she just puts a little bit of water. 2 stalks of celery. I always get it ribs. Is the whole thing a stalk, and a rib is just one piece. So 2 pieces of celery in there, and I left this much of that onion, and the onion was this size right here. So not a whole lot, and we put a little bit of poultry seasoning in it, and a little... I said a stick, but a pad of butter in it just for flavor. We've got that going, and here is our cornbread, celery, and biscuits. That celery's hanging on there. But here is the biscuit bread. You can see there is the half piece of it. See where it was together. And that's the cornbread. And I made it all in one skillet, and I'm so proud of myself for trying that. Mama, what do you think about that? I told Mama, I said, what do you think about it?
I said it turned out really good.
I told Mama, I said, I just need a half of each. I'm just going to put it in one pan. She said, well, Lord, how are you going to keep it from mixing up? And I said, I'm going to pour it some time. So I heated that oil in that skillet, put it out, poured them in at the same time. They met each other. They stopped in the middle, and it worked out perfect. So now we're going to get ready and make up some dumpling dough because the broth is ready, and that's what's next. So let me make it up for you here, and we'll see.
Can you open this first?
Yes, ma'am.
Need an opener?
Here's Mama's wonderful peanut beans. We'll use the whole quart because we won't eat them all today, but we will eat them this week. And I love leftover peanut beans. It's one of my favorite little go-to snacks.
Get it loose?
Yeah.
Well, I was getting you a jar open.
I got it, Mama. Let's see if I can pop it up.
I'll get it with that thing.
I don't want you to hurt yourself, Mama.
I've got a can opener.
Oh, you're gonna use a can opener? Okay. Mama will use a can opener. So, y'all saw me make biscuits yesterday. Dumplings is just a thick, tougher dough made for biscuits. And I'm going to show you the difference right now. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 2 of Mama's cups here of flour. This is self-rising flour. And I'm going to use 2 whole cups. And with dumplings, you roll them a lot thinner than you do biscuits. So, that helps. Mama, you found the blending fork, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Would you put a big slab of butter on it over there out of your little thing and hand it to me? And I'm going to get some butter. Sorry about that noise. I'm going to get some buttermilk.
I'll get it for you.
See, Mama don't really want me to do it. She wants to get it for me, she says.
There's your blending fork.
They'll be fussing, Mama, and saying that I make you do everything.
Well,
And,
I've not done nothing on this yet.
well, Mama, I know you don't feel as good, and I want you to feel good. I don't want you to overdo it. So I'm just going to put this butter. This is already softened butter. We do leave our butter out all the time. And we use enough of it, it don't spoil. And we just leave it in this little butter dish right here beside the stove. And yeah, it's pretty close to the stove, but you don't want it to get hot. But that's all I do. And I'm just going to blend this butter into these 2 cups of flour, just like you've seen me do for biscuits. I'm not going to put any baking powder in this because that's not the goal of these, is to make them rise. Now, in the South, we have what they call, or what we call, some of y'all are going to say, I've never heard of that, which probably have, I don't know. We have slickums, and we have fluffy dumplings. And I like both. I like the tough little slickums that hold their shape and they look just like a square little dumpling. And I also like Mama's favorite, which is the fluffy. So since I'm making these because Mama wants them, these are going to be more of the fluffy variety. Mama, you want to put a little oil in here, or you just want to use the butter?
Just use the butter.
Mama says no oil. Now, when you get your butter mixed in there, and yesterday I did put mine in after, it works out okay, but for this, it'll look like little, you can see the little lumps in there. That's what you want. This is whole cultured buttermilk, and I'm going to give it a good shake, and I'm going to pour it right in here. Just like that. So in here we have 2 cups of self-rising flour, about 2 tablespoons of butter, and enough buttermilk to get my dough holding together here. We'll know what it's like when we get to it. See, it's a little dry. I want it a little bit more. And that's all there is to it. This is just dumplings or biscuits. You can make this into biscuits. Now this is working up. I'm getting all the dry off the bottom. It's sticking together. I don't want it terribly dry because I'm going to dry it out with some flour. And that's what I want. When I stir it, I want it to pull from the sides and from the bottom. It's hard to stir upside down and sideways. But you can see what it kind of looks like. Y'all hold on 2 seconds. Let me roll you around and I'll come over there and meet you. Oh, Mama, I smell that celery and those onions. And it smells like Thanksgiving up in here. Alright, so we are over here. This is another thing about lives. Y'all have to endure a lot of motion. If we're on a recorded, then I just pause and make my movements and then I come back to you. But on lives, you don't have that luxury. Okay, so I'm going to tilt you down. I want you to see this because this is where we're going to be working. So, I'm going to put quite a bit of flour. We may have to even break out some more flour. Because we're about to the end. And I ran out of cornmeal a while ago, Mama. You're empty. We've been cooking a little bit, I guess, haven't we? I thought we hadn't cooked much, but I guess we have a little bit. Mama said we've been too sick to go get groceries. That could be the other reason. We want to get all this wonderful dough out of here. Just like that. Now, my hands are clean. Just like with the biscuits, I'm just going to work that dry flour up into my dough. Now with the biscuits, I didn't want to overwork them because I didn't want them to get tough. I just wanted them light and fluffy, and I didn't want to overwork them. You remember I told you yesterday I couldn't pick that dough up because it was so light and fluffy. But now today I want to be able to pick this dough up. That's the difference between dumplings and biscuits. You work it a lot more. Sorry about my throat. Well, Mama, you are good. Good old white lily, self-rising. I've got probably enough for this little job, but I'll fill your canister back up. So I'm going to put a little bit more flour because I can already tell it's not quite what we want. I apologize for my throat. It just keeps on keeping on. Having to be cleared. The coffee helps. Warm liquids help. Now see, it's not sticking to my board when it's got enough flour on it. Right now it still is just a little bit. And what I'm doing is just folding or kneading the dough. See there, it's stuck. That means that is not where I need it for dumplings. I would never want to work it this much for biscuits. I just want to kind of gently fold it for biscuits, not overwork it. I don't want it tough. For dumplings, I do want it a little tougher. And this is working up really good. And it's about to where I need it. So all I'm going to do now is make it into a little ball. Going to get my trusty dough roller. That's another thing I don't roll out for biscuits, but I do like to roll out for dumplings because you want them to be just right. Biscuits, you want to leave them about a 1/2 inch thickness. Dumplings, you want to much thinner. This is rolling out really good. This is another little test. I can pick that dough up and it's not falling apart. Pick it up and turn it, and it's staying right where it's not coming apart. It's not like a biscuit was yesterday. This is not. And you just want to roll them out till you get them kind of in a rectangular shape. I peeled out. Do you see that? I hit a damp spot and my dough roller pulled up on the dough. But I'll just clean that right off. Just like that. Put a little bit more flour. Just like that. And we'll just roll some more. No problem. Now with a pie crust or something like that, you would worry more about if you had a hole in it. But you could even patch that up pretty good. Wouldn't be any problem. And now don't worry about the flour on there, because you want a little flour because you want that your dumplings to thicken up. So there it is. That's all I'm going to do to it. I hope y'all can see that. Can y'all see that? I think so. Mama, while you're standing right there, would you hand me that pizza cutter? I call it a pizza cutter, but more than often we use it for dumplings more than we do pizza. And I'm just going to roll it through some flour here over here on the side. And then I'm just going to, I'm not worried about the edges being all perfect. I'm not worried about the being the same thickness exactly. All I'm doing is just taking this pizza cutter and making our dumplings. You can't really do them wrong as far as cutting them out. And over here where it's messy looking, that's fine. And then up here, we're just going to and this is going to make a big old pot of dumplings. And that's it. That's all you have to do. And now we'll just take these apart. I'll put them on a plate. Probably need my bench scraper, but just pick these little pieces up. See, and where I've got them good and firm, they won't stick together. And that's what you want, because when you put it in your boiling broth over here in a minute, you want them to be ready to cook. You don't want them all calmed up. Mama, is the broth ready?
No, I had it turned off. I turned it back on.
Mama turned it back on, she said. Those are a little damp there. So all you want to do is just get your dumplings. See how they're, now that's a pile of them, but they'll all come apart. And I'm going to show you right over here in a minute when I take you over here. Mama, let us know when that gets to boiling.
Okay.
Because you want your broth to be boiling. You don't want it to be, now I'm going to turn this cutting board, the chore board, over, because I don't want the onions in my dumplings, the flavor. But I'm just going to have this sitting right here, and I'm going to take these over to the broth in a minute and put them right in there. Drop them in. You want to drop them all in about the same time.
That was a little throw happy.
Well, throw happy, Mama said. You want to drop them in at the same time so they'll cook. Because if you don't, if you start stirring them, you're going to have mushy dumplings. Or no dumplings, really. They'll just go away. You can batch them. You can put them in there.
I'm going to start putting some of this in here.
Okay. Turn the camera in there and let them see you. They've seen me do this for
I don't know if I can or not.
Are you in there, Mama?
Yeah, I think so.
Can you see, Mama?
Yeah.
So that is the water, the broth, celery, and the onions. And this is the cornbread, biscuit bread that she's putting right in here. And I'm just still over here picking up little squares of dumplings and putting them on my cutting board. Mama, this smells like Thanksgiving.
I know it. You're going to make us do Thanksgiving 2 or 3 times.
I know.
It's just, I started to say January, but no, we're in February.
We're in February. It's Valentine's Day. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Can you believe it? We've been talking about it. Here it is. Not that we do that much for Valentine's Day. Mama puts a flag out Valentine's Day, but we don't really have nothing else going on. But it's interesting.
You was possible when I hear it.
it's interesting how the year is flying by. Okay, folks, I'm piled up here. Y'all see what Mama's doing there. I'm going to take over here and show you
This
what
is all I'm doing. Just
I'm going to take over here and show you what I'm doing. Here's my pile of, can y'all see the broth of boiling right here? So here's the broth of boiling. Now I know people who put these in one at a time. And you're going to see I'm not the one of them. They'll come apart because I've got them, the dough's just right. And there you are. See how they're all separated in there? See how they're all cooking? Now the secret, you cover them all in broth, push them down, and leave them alone. Don't be stirring at them. Don't be poking at them. Leave them alone. Let them cook now. You've done your part. The rest is up to them. If you do need to stir them, just move your pot a little bit to make sure the broth comes up over them. If you start stirring them, you're going to end up with a thick, kind of
tasty
chicken soup. You're not going to have dumplings. Those dumplings will go away. You won't even know you have dumplings in there if you mess with them too much. See how that's all coming up over them? I guess the steam's hard for y'all to see through. But that is what's going on. Now that juice is absorbing that extra flour that was on them. And it's going to make that good and thick and taste like chicken and dumplings. Mama don't like chicken in her dumplings. She only likes the dumplings. Now I'll cut this chicken up and I will... I know you said not to stir them, John, and you just did. I didn't really stir them. I just moved them from one side to the other. But you can see how thick and fluffy they're getting. Can you see these? I know you can't see through that steam. Can you see? Can you see them dumplings? But they're smelling wonderful, and they are making dumplings, delicious dumplings. Mama's getting the dressing ready. These potatoes are ready to be mashed. It won't take the dressing long to bake because we like it kind of raw anyway. And I'm not going to make it real thick because once again, Mama don't like thick dressing. And I'm going to turn these dumplings down now. They've cooked. They've got their stuff going. Turn them down and let them just sort of, I hope y'all can see that. Just let them simmer now. They'll stay hot. That dough will get done. Don't take long to boil dough. Cook it like that. Here's our half a chicken. And I'm going to pick some of that off. And the skin, I'll take all that skin off. See that wonderful juicy, look at that juicy chicken over there where it was boiled. I'm going to pick a little bit of that off.
You want all this bread?
No, we ain't making that much. Just a small little bit, Mama. Huh? You asked too late? Well, whatever you want, Mama.
Get your,
We'll have.
get your sage.
Let's come back over here. We'll let them dumplings do their thing by themselves here. Let me get, did you get the poultry seasoning?
It's right there it is. I'll set it on the counter.
Okay, let me get some sage. There's nothing like preparation. Nothing like having everything ready to go when you get ready to cook. I've never done it. But I've heard of it. I've heard of other people doing it. Sorry for the movement again. It's one of the side effects of Alive. Okay, so now Mama's got Mama left a lot. Look here. You want me to fix all of it? She said. Look.
I left enough for you to eat.
Toes and knees and shins. Watch out, there comes a knife.
A big knife.
Oh. Okay, so this is the. Huh?
Just a little bit of sage, I think.
This is the dressing. This is, let me tilt y'all down. This is the cornbread and the biscuit bread all mixed into that celery and onions and the chicken broth. And that's all we have there. Let's see what y'all are saying. Hello from North Carolina. Made chicken salad with dark meat. It's good. I'm headed over there now, Robin and Mary, for some dumplings. Well, there'll probably be some because I've got plenty of dumplings and we've got plenty of dressing. I thought I might make half of that, but Mama thought we'd make all of that. I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of rubbing sage. That's what this is. Even though this has got sage in it too, it's got a few more things in it and it's poultry seasoning. And I'm going to put a good dash of that in there.
You're through with everything, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am. You know, Mama, she's cleaning up. She's got that mat rolled up. She's going to throw it in there. Here's some of the chicken broth that was in there. Look how rich and buttery and delicious. Going to pour just a little bit more of that over that. Because you want it to be a little looser than you think it ought to be. When you think, oh, I've got that too thin, you probably got it just about right. Because when you bake it, of course, it dries out. Now, you don't want it runny, but I'll show you here in a minute when it's just about right for me. You may be thinking, whoops, put too much in there. I always reserve you a little bit of cornbread in case you do put too much, but you probably have not put too much. Because that bread continues to absorb. Look, it's already back to a good consistency. And that's about how you want it. You want it good and loose, just like that. You want it to be, when you bake it, it's got room to dry out. So there's the dressing, and I'm going to taste this.
I'll get your spoon. Get your spoon. I'm having a hard time clearing my throat.
I'm going to taste this. Even though it's a clean spoon, I still don't like to dip it in there and then put it in my mouth. Mama made perfect dressing. That's all I can say. It's delicious.
I didn't make it. You did.
Okay, then I made it perfect. It's delicious, Mama. You did good. One more taste. Doesn't need a thing. Doesn't need salt, pepper, nothing. The sage, the poultry season, not peppers, the celery, and the onions. It's blended wonderfully.
Do you want this pan spray?
But this is too big, Mom.
No, it'll go in there.
That one go in there?
I hope.
Wow.
I might not. Let me double make sure before you pour that in there.
Will it, Mama? That's a big pan. I didn't know we could. It does. Does Mama know her pans, or does Mama know her pans? Let me show you what she's putting in there. In the Easy Bake, a whole cake pan. I thought, wow, that's big. Now, folks, we'll probably have no problem eating this dressing over the next few days because we love it. Mama loves it. Just chicken gravy and dressing. And I made a big old thing of mashed potatoes because I know we need some leftovers. And we'll have probably this chicken tomorrow. We'll bake it again, we'll put some seasoning on it and have dressing and mashed potatoes. And the leftover green beans would be a good leftover supper, even without the dumplings. Mama, how's your dumplings holding up?
Not messed with them, really.
You don't really mess with dumplings. You just let them do their thing. This is the dressing. Now, we're only going to bake this bake about 20 minutes. But we really wouldn't even have to let it bake it out. We love it raw. I would be happy eating it raw. Daddy always said, you messed it up every time you cook it. We always kept him a big bowl in the refrigerator. And he would eat on it 2 or 3 days. Because that was his favorite thing, was the raw dressing. That's it, folks. That's homemade cornbread dressing in a flash. Now we're going to throw this in the oven, and all we're really going to do is let it brown. That's all we're interested in. Our dressing's never too thick, and it's never too hard. Ours is kind of like, which Mama worked at the school, ours is kind of like the school dressing that they dip out with an ice cream scoop, and it's pliable enough they can dip it, it makes a scoop. So ours is that kind of dressing usually. Heck yeah, I could just eat the dressing, Samantha. Oh, isn't it the best? I like raw dressing too. The older I get, the more I get like Dad. And the more I like it. Because he was a good man, and he did good things, and he was a good example. Love seeing your Southern cooking. Elaine, we love doing it. It's the only thing we know how to do, really. You all eat. That makes you happy. Life is short. Yes, eat what you want. Eat in moderation and be careful, but, eat a few things. No eggs, Judy, no. We've never put eggs in ours. I know a lot of people do boil eggs and put boiled eggs in them, and we never have. And I have eaten it with it, and I don't not like it with it.
They put fresh eggs, and we don't because your daddy loved it raw.
Well, sometimes they put raw eggs, but I know people who put boiled eggs. So we've never put eggs in ours. I know that's a tradition, and a lot of people do it. On cornbread dressing, that is what Mama was making. Yeah. Are you talking about Mama was making? That's what she was stirring up in that bowl, yeah. I love good cornbread dressing, Bertha. I do too, and it's easy to make. Don't fool yourself into thinking that a lot of this stuff is, it's so hard, or you only can do that one time a year. Nah, heck no. We use it all the time. How long do you cook chicken and dumplings? Well, they're done. They're just over there. I've got them on a low simmer. It doesn't take long for those little thin pieces of biscuit to cook up in there. It's not going to brown or anything. It's just going to get done. We can set them over here, and I'll show them to you. They're done, and really the only thing we're waiting on now is that dressing I just put in the oven. Now, if all things were perfect and the world was the way it should be, I would have put the dressing in before I made the dumplings.
Move your coffee.
And it could have cooked while I was making the dumplings. But in the interest of showing you all of it together and not making this live 2 hours long, we kind of just made it up all like this, and that dressing will be fine, and we don't even really have to have the dressing immediately. But here are the dumplings. You can see I didn't stir them, didn't mess with them, and here they are, all nice and fluffy. That's how Mama likes it. See how I piled them all in there at one time? Y'all saw me. Now there's a little clump, but I can cut it apart. But they're individually in there, and look at that thick gravy from that flour. That's what you want, is good dumplings. You can stir them a little bit now because they're cooked and they're solid. They won't just fall apart. But if you've got that boiling, rolling broth going, and then you start stirring on them, you wouldn't see a dumpling in there. You'd see this right here and lots of it. You'd see this juice and a lot of it, and that's all you'd have. But where I didn't stir them, and I have my dough good and firm, you got a good firm dumpling in there. And that's what you do. That's all you do. That's how we do or how I do mine. Now, Mama, do you do yours like this all the time?
I cut mine a little thicker than what you do. Bigger.
A little bigger. Hers is a little bigger, but mine's bite size. Mama's is usually big size. Me and Mama do most everything's at least similar, but everybody has their own little twist on things, their own little different way of doing things.
You cut yours neat and even, and I don't.
Mama says I do mine neat and even. But the dumplings are done, so we're going to give that dressing a few minutes. Mama, if you want me to cut off some, you don't care about that chicken, do you?
No, I don't want no chicken.
I'll cut me off a little piece of it in a second. But we can just chat for a while the dressing is finishing up. The green beans are done. Mama's going to mash these mashed potatoes, looks like. They're readily done because I had them earlier when I was doing the chicken. But we're ready for some good old chicken and dumplings and dressing, mashed potatoes, and peanut beans. What on earth is a peanut bean? Every time I mention peanut beans, some of y'all ask that. It's a green bean, and it's got a little red bean in it. It kind of resembles a little peanut. It's a southern bean. We get ours at the co-op, or we can get them at Tractor Supply sometime. But mostly, we just save seed from year to year, and we have them like that. We save our own seed. Red half runners, Mama?
No.
No.
Different.
Mama said no. You know, last year we questioned that, and we did plant a red half runner, but Mama said that was not her.
Peanut bean is a little bush bean, and the
Can y'all hear her?
the peanut bean is a little bush bean, and the red, or it's called pink half runners. They run like a white half runner. They're just a pale pink.
They're just a pale pink half runner. It's not the exact same bean we call a peanut bean. Ours is probably the same beans we've had for 25, 30 years here, because we just save them year after year.
And
You
they
can
come
show
in quicker. They're not They're like what some people call them 6-week beans or something.
6-week beans or early beans. They're a pain. They're truly a pain, and you get a little old bitty bean, and they're not a long, skinny, straight bean. They're all twisted, and they're about that big, and it takes forever.
If anybody knows what a greasy bean looks like,
Kind of like a greasy bean or a dried bean.
they're a little small bean.
They're hard to fool with, and a lot of people don't want to fool with them. My half runners will get big and long, and you string them and you break them up. Peanut beans are a pain, but they are so worth it. They are worth it. They're my favorite bean, Mama's favorite bean. They're worth this extra trouble, but they're just an heirloom bean. You know how ugly heirloom tomatoes are. They're not pretty. Neither are the beans. They're just little naughty looking beans. But boy, are they so good. Sometimes that heirloom stuff that's not had any genetic alteration to get them to be pretty red round tomatoes, or to get them to be just that perfect looking fruit, those are the old timey tomatoes called heirloom or old timey beans, and that's what the peanut beans are. But you can get them we have bought peanut bean seeds. It's not like you just can't ever find them. But some places will tell you, even the workers at the store, oh, they're the same as the pink half runners, and they're not. They're not the same thing. They're a little different. Enjoy your fabulous meal. Diane, we hope to. What's the menu for Valentine's Day? Vivian, probably leftovers. Probably dumplings and chicken and mashed potatoes and green beans. Probably tomorrow will be a good leftover day. We make them up with something totally different. Sometimes we skip a day. Like we'll have this and then we'll skip a day and have leftovers the following day, and we'll fix something totally different in the middle. But Mom and I are learning how to cook less. Now, this is a third of a pot of dumplings from what we normally would have fixed.
I usually use the bigger kettle.
We use a bigger kettle and we make a big old pot. We cook big. We cook a lot. We usually have a lot of people eating. But COVID has changed that. We used to have people drop by, and they knew we'd be cooking. So we'd say, come over and eat. Come on over. We're fixing so-and-so. But things have changed. And we're trying to learn how to change with it because we don't want to eat things for 2 or 3 days. Sometimes I don't care. But I also like to reinvent things. Like, we'll have pinto beans. We'll eat them a day, maybe 2, because I can eat me some pinto beans. Mama, hen, it's time for some pinto beans. Then I'll take and turn that into chili, and we'll eat a bowl of chili with crackers. And then maybe the next night we'll bake potatoes and put chili and cheese and sour cream over top of that. Or I have even taken taco seasoning and added it to my chili and make a taco salad with lettuce and that kind of stuff. So I reinvent the leftovers a lot of times. That kind of makes it a little different. So, Mama, we're going to mash the potatoes. Is that what you're up to over there?
No, I was waiting on the dressing a little bit more. It likes about 9 minutes or something.
9 minutes?
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and we'll just eat without the dressing, and by the time we get ready
Oh, what?
we'll start, and then we can bless it, and then whenever we get ready to show it, then it'll be ready. We'll have everything done because I don't know how long we've been on here. Thank y'all for hanging in with us. Maybe I should start recording. Would y'all rather us record some of these longer meals?
Yes.
Mama said yes.
Have you got the can opener over there, sir?
No, ma'am. I had a need for it. She found it. You want me to do it? You washed this off already, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
What was I saying? Oh, would y'all rather us do pre-recorded? We love doing the live so we can talk with y'all and get interaction. And it's like you're just sitting here. But if you're getting bored with some of this longer lives, then we want to do what you all want us to do on that. Susan Cindy, no. Leanne Wilson says you don't want it pre-recorded. Flowers to Mom. For Valentine's Day, no, I don't do flowers. And I'll tell you why I don't do flowers. Mama don't appreciate flowers.
I do, Johnny.
She does from other people. But we had a flower shop. And when you've done 6 or 7 Valentine's Days, and you've had hundreds and hundreds, you just don't want to see a flower. And Mama said, don't bring none of them home. Lord, I'm so sick of looking at flowers. And we would have flowers everywhere with Mama.
I'll work in them for days.
For days and nights. So when you've done flowers and it's been a part of your life, then it's not as nice.
But I do appreciate it.
But Mama she wants me to recant my statement. If you send her flowers, she appreciates it. She loves it. She loves any thought. You could send Mama a bouquet of field daisies and she would love them.
I love daisies.
She loves daisies. She
My
really
niece
does.
just got me some pretty daisies.
But when we had the flower shop here in our hometown, we partnered with another family and it about killed us all because it was a 24-hour day thing. We sold the flower shop. It's still operational. Jellico Four Seasons Florist, and we sold it several years ago. And I have to tell you, I've not missed the work. If you've ever done anything like that, you work Christmas, you work Thanksgiving, you work whenever someone passes. It's a sad time. A lot of people say, oh, it's so pretty and uplifting. It is. But then sometimes it's not. And you want to make sure, that you do the very best. And it's a lot of responsibility if you take it to heart, because this is the last thing maybe somebody's done for somebody, or this is a anniversary and you're sending the gift to them. You want it to be just perfect. So you feel a little pressure with it, and it's like I say, it's 7 days a week. Even if you're not open on Sunday, if something comes up, then you have to go. So we did that for several years, and so we don't send a lot of flowers. I guess it's burnt out for a while. I don't know. I love daisies too, Karen. They're just beautiful. What's wrong with a day? And black-eyed Susanna, black-eyed Susan, whichever you call it. Black-eyed Susan. They're beautiful. And sunflowers. What's that for, Mom? Oh, the cranberry? Yes, ma'am. I understand. I understand the assignment. This is what we love. Now, Mama made real cranberry sauce not long ago. We ate every bit of it, and it's delicious. But when we can't get the real, we like the whole cranberry sauce. Yeah, I know, it's just a big old clump of cranberry sauce, but it's good. Don't kill yourself over every little detail, folks. Sometimes the stores have wonderful shortcuts. Once you put that in there and stir it up, just like I'm doing, you can't tell a big difference between that and homemade. I can. And if you don't just absolutely love the canned cranberries, let me tell you a little hack you can do. Put you about a tablespoon of orange juice in there and stir it in, and it gives it a wonderful, fresh flavor. It's almost like if you've cooked them yourself and stirred them that way. Stirred them over a hot stove all day, or 2-3 hours, whatever it takes for them to pop and get just perfect. But we like them just like that. We're about ready to eat, folks. Even though the dressing ain't quite done, I guarantee you we could take it out and eat it because we'd like it. There'd be no problem with it. I could have made the dressing first, but I wanted you to see it. And then I could have done the dumplings, but I wanted you to see them. So it's all in the timing. Mama's got these mashed potatoes almost mashed. Mama, you want to let them see you do the rest of it? Because they've not seen you mashed potato in weeks.
I ain't done them in weeks. This is the most cooking I've done. You've been doing most of it. If you want to keep on that.
If you want to keep cooking, go ahead, right?
Yeah, I'm going to get some cream for it.
Cream or evaporated milk. We get in trouble telling y'all cream because she's like, what's that? Well, it's canned milk. It's evaporated milk, and that's what we use in our mashed potatoes and in our gravy. It's a little late for lunch. It's 2 o'clock, but we wasn't in no hurry today. And we'll eat this, and this will be our meal today. We just had one meal yesterday.
Oh, we gosh, a bowl of goulash.
Well, we had leftover goulash, yeah. So Mama's going to add this canned cream. I'm going to have to get me something to drink. Mama, I think I've catching your cough.
I can get that other side to open.
I'll do it, Mama. Now, with the potatoes, they're like the dressing. You want them a little bit looser than what you think you do when you first mash them, because potatoes will thicken up in a hurry because they're full of starch. Just like cornstarch thickens gravy, your potatoes will thicken right up. So I always put a little extra evaporated milk in them, and then time you get ready to serve them, they are good and got the right consistency. Now, when it's just me and Mama, we're doing regular supper or lunch, we eat out of the kettles because they're hot. And that's just extra dishes when you put them up in serving dishes. This is a country thing, I guess. If we have company over, we put them out in matching serving bowls and all that, and we put our best foot forward. But when it's just us, them kettles are good and hot, and they're going to keep your food hotter. Plus, that's one less thing to have to wash.
We put on ours. Is that what you're saying?
Put on ours. Oh, when we have company?
Yeah.
Well, sure, you're supposed to. Ain't that what you have company for? Ain't that the reason people have the good dishes and the bad dishes and all that stuff? Was you wanting me, Mama?
No, I was going to get you a knife for will that cut the chicken for you?
Yes, ma'am. Just need that in the fork. I ain't gonna make so much noise, folks. I'm gonna be good.
I'm on my way.
There's your little thing. We'll just leave this in the kettle and have it to serve right there. Put your evaporated milk in your can opener with a magnet on it right there. And I'll put your plate here. I try. Now I'm just going to cut me a little piece of this chicken so I can have it with my dumplings. Mama, you don't want any chicken, right?
No.
No protein. Just the dumplings, right?
Mostly dumplings.
All right, Mama. I won't put no chicken on your plate then. The dumplings, even though they've been sitting here because they're still in this kettle, are steaming hot. And I'm going to put that right over top of my chicken. Just like that. You can put them in a bowl. You can eat them on a plate. However you want to do it. Now, I know this is starch and starch. And the green beans is the only thing really we have on the table that's not a starch. But mashed potatoes and actually this is all starch. Except for the green beans. Because you got dressing.
The chicken's not starch.
You ain't even having that, Mama. But the dumplings is dough and bread. The mashed potatoes is starch. And this dressing is just cornbread and biscuit bread. And we don't eat this way every day. But this is loaded with starch. And we'll probably be sleeping. Now the dressing could have browned a little bit more. But see there, it's... Excuse me.
We're going to have to get off.
We've talked so much. Mama says, you don't never hush. There's the brown on the dressing a little bit. And that's good enough because we don't really like it just completely cooked to death.
Stick it back in there.
Mama put it back in there and let it cook a minute.
I wanted to bite of it with my dumplings.
This is the Southern Sunday luncheon that we're having today, folks. There it is. We're having those homemade dumplings and chicken, and we're having mashed potatoes, homemade cornbread dressing, green beans, and delicious canned cranberries that come straight out of the can. Thank you, Ocean Spray, for fixing those for us today. That saved me and Mama a little bit of trouble. Mama's going to get over here. We'll bless it, and then we'll be ready to eat. Let's see what y'all are saying. It was her kitchen. I don't know what y'all are talking about there. I was trying to make it out. I'll have to go back and look. It says that you live in, hey Joanna, you live in Georgia. Sandra, I would eat it all. The comments are stopping and starting. I don't know if something's wrong with it or not. That's my kind of meal. Yum. Dorothy, it is good. Just need gravy. We do have gravy a lot of times with this, but the dumplings have got... Thank you for the water,
sorry,
honey. Thank you for the water.
Oh.
The dumplings have got a good juicy gravy over them, and but we do have We do gravy a lot of times. But we didn't today. Not too much.
That's too much.
No, that ain't too much, Mama.
Yeah.
Green beans are good for you. That's just one little spoonful.
Yeah, but I was just.
And I didn't put it in the right spot. Did you see that? Did you see her move them green beans? She picky. Picky.
I want my cranberry sauce next to my dressing.
Put you some mashed potatoes on there, Mama.
Oh. You make me eat green beans. I don't have room for
You
that.
gotta eat some veggies. These terrible 73s. Let's bless our food. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this wonderful meal. We just pray for the nourishment of our bodies, dear Lord. We just pray for healing. And dear Lord, we just pray that you'll be with each and every prayer request that's turned in. Pray that you'll answer them all in your time, your will, and your glory, dear Lord. And just be with us, watch over us, lead and guide and direct us in everything that we do. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, Mama, I'm waiting for you to taste your dumplings and let me know how disappointed I've made
This
you.
is the first time you've made me dumplings.
This is the first time you've eaten my dumplings.
No, I take that back.
I started saying Mama.
They're very good.
Well, thank you, Mama. Almost like you would make, maybe. Maybe.
Maybe. Mine's fluffy and big.
Mama spoons hers out. Do you even cut yours?
Yes, I do.
You cut them?
Mm-hmm. You didn't put salt in the potatoes when you cooked them, did you? First bite.
I don't know, Mama, did I?
Mm-mm.
I don't think I did, Mama. I did put a little sprinkle when I cooked them, but that's okay. That was Mama's nice way of saying, you didn't salt them potatoes. But these peanut beans, Let me see if I can pick these up.
They might be warm.
Oh, they are warm, Mama. See the little peanut beans here? Those little beans, they look like little peanuts. And that's how they get their name. And they're kind of like greasy beans. Or shelly beans, that they call them. But that's the way they are. And like I said, they're not very big. They're only about that long. So it takes a while to get a whole bushel of them, doesn't it, Mama?
And if you're breaking up a can of them, it takes you 2 or 3 times longer than white egg runners.
Mm-hmm. That chicken's delicious. And I like these dumplings. I hope they're satisfying you at least.
Yeah, they are.
It's sweet of you to say so, Mama.
Mm-hmm.
Look at me and Mama and our red. Ready for tomorrow. Now, I probably won't have any red to wear tomorrow. I'll have to wear green.
I'll loan you one of my blouses to wear.
No, Mama, that's not. I've just worn this one this morning. I could wear it tomorrow if I needed to. If it becomes a law or something.
Hello.
Now the dressing, it's good. See, it's good and brown for me. I'm fine with it. It tastes great. Let's see what y'all are saying, then we'll say goodbye. We went old school lunch, fried bologna and cheese sandwiches. Oh, Jody, that is wonderful. Wonderful. When I was a kid, I'll tell you this right quick. We used to take bologna, put it on a paper plate, just a slice of bologna and a slice of cheese, and put it in the microwave, and it would cup up. And we called it bologna bowls. And in that bowl, we'd put mustard or salad dressing, and then chop up some tomato, and we would call them bologna bowls. And all the kids in the family, we loved bologna bowls, and everybody made them, and we thought we were doing some fancy cooking. So bologna bowls was one of the first things some of us learned how to cook. But if you don't cut that bologna and you just lay it in there, it'll make a bowl. And that cheese will be inside of it. And you can make a nice little bologna bowl. And I talked to one of them not long ago, and they said, I still make bologna bowls every once in a while. And I said, they're still good. So that was probably one of our first little things. All right, folks, we're going to say goodbye. Find you something good to eat, make you some memories. Enjoy this beautiful sunshine today. It's another borrowed day from March, and the temperature here is still cold, though. It's only 35 here where we're at. So it's not that 67 we had the other day. You all right, Mama?
Mm.
But it's cold, but step out the window at least and enjoy it. Find you something good to eat. Find you something that's not all this starch, maybe. But if you do, it's good. So find you something good to eat, make you some memories, and have a good day. Can you say goodbye, Mama?
Goodbye, Mama, and God bless you all.
Goodbye, y'all. Mama is doing better than she sounds like she is. So it just comes and
I don't
goes.
know why. Having a hard time this day.
It just comes and goes, Mama. That's why I was this morning. So she'll be back to buzzing around here in a few minutes, I'm sure. So y'all have a great day. Find you something good to eat. And thank y'all for being with us and putting up with us along today. Bye.
Bye-bye.